Hi, so I'm editing this video and I want to give you a little warning. The warning is this. Have you ever played a pinball machine before? And it has all of those bright and shiny lights and the ball goes bing, 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 bing. That's kind of how this was filmed. I had so many things and so many favorite things to share with you that I was so excited. I talked quickly. I went over things so fast, and I went from one thing to the next. So if you're ready to play a pinball machine, or you're ready to watch a very, very crazy video with so many things going from one thing to the next, keep watching because there's a lot to share. Hello, welcome to Where We Knit. My name is Kristen and I'm coming to you from Minneapolis, and I'm filming here in my local yarn store where I teach classes, Dandelion Fiber Company. And today is gonna be a doozy. This episode is going to be full on packed from start to finish with all of my favorite things. So for those of you who subscribe to my channel, thank you, by the way. And those of you who are new, welcome. I have a piece at the end of each episode. I think I have 16 episodes that I've already previously taped and that are on YouTube. At the end of these videos, I share my favorite things, both knitting related and non-knitting related. And I get really good feedback from all of you about that you love the section of favorite things. Now, one thing I need you to know as a note before watching this full-on video of favorite things, it is focused mostly on knitting and sewing and making, all of my making favorite things. I don't do a good job of cataloging my knits of what I make on Ravelry or really anywhere in a journal. And so that's one of my craft resolutions of the year. I hate New Year's resolutions, but I'm going to do a craft resolution, and that is I am going to catalog everything I knit this year. And I am going to go back to everything I've knit before. Okay, not everything, but most things I've knit in the past and put on Ravelry because I feel like I want to have a catalog of something where I am cataloging everything and know what I've used and whatever. And the way that I got myself to do that is in lieu of doing Vlogmas. For those of you who did Vlogmas, you knocked it out of the park. Kudos to you. I could never do it. I just don't have the time and edits and techie and all of that jazz. But anyhow, I have enjoyed watching several of your Vlogmas videos. But for me, I wore a different knit every day and said the pattern, the designer, the yarn I used, etc. I'm still going. I started it at the beginning of December and I'm still going. And that just means I have a lot of knits, almost too many knits, but you can never have too many knits, right? My husband would beg to differ. Anyhow, so that's the way that I'm getting started, is to go back and catalog my knits because I've already taken pictures of them and they're already on my Instagram. Everything that I mentioned today will be in the show notes, I think. The show notes, YouTube has a limit of how much I can add. So the show notes could be, I don't know, they could be missing a few things here and there. If I'm missing something, I either forgot or I had to condense down the notes. So send me a message. I love your messages. Also, I might not reply to every single one of them right away, but I will get to you. Anyway, I digress. If you don't see something in the show notes that you want to know about, send me a message. I'll send you anything you want to know. Okay, well, almost everything. Let's get started. Okay, look at the notes. Okay, they're notes that I created for myself, but look at this. There's a lot. Yeah, and they're handwritten because they just are. What should I start with? I'm gonna start with my favorite accessories that I knit throughout this year, and other. Like there's a few things that I'm going to catalog here and tell you about of, these are just all-time favorites, not of just 2024, okay? So favorite accessories that I have knit, these I pretty much knit this year. These have been mentioned several times on this podcast. The late bloomer mittens. These are my two favorite accessories. Mittens that I knit. These both are for me. I knit them as Christmas gifts too, both this year and last year. But late bloomer mittens, a favorite. You can see them in the show notes. And then also my favorite accessory mitten wise are these. These are not a pair. Loofah mittens, where they are inside, there's another knit, so you actually knit them. They're genius. The pattern's super bare bones. I'll put the designer either up on the screen or for sure in the show notes, but you knit them like this. So they can be reversible, but these are my friend Kristen. These are for her for Christmas. I gave her and her husband just one mitten because I couldn't finish. I mean, can we digress for a second? The gift knitting. I did so much gift knitting. I didn't touch a thing literally for myself the whole month of December. So second craft resolution, starting gift knitting in June. I'm done with work in June. I'm a teacher by day and a knitting instructor at night. And I need to start my gift knitting earlier because I was so focused on gift knitting that I knit nothing for myself, which is fine, but it was a little difficult at the end. I was coming in hot. So loofah mittens, second favorite accessory. Third favorite accessory that I knit was the small fry scarf. Knit 3 of them as holiday gifts as well. It's a pattern by Samantha Guerin. I will put that in the show notes. Small fry scarf, love it, no purling, has this beautiful texture. I love a good neck scarf because if my neck is warm, then I'm warm. So this is another super fun knit that I love. Just came out this year, this pattern. Small fry scarf, Samantha Guerin. This accessory, I'm gonna call it an accessory because, I mean, you can't wear it, but this little bag with the sheep that I embroidered on it, the pattern is called Flock by the Petite Knitter. Love it. I knit it in scraps and I also lined it with just some linen and scrap fabric that I had. So this was really fun. Okay, I'm going really fast, but I have a lot to show. And then my last favorite thing that I have knit is this scarf. Now, there's a scarf called, I need to find it in my notes here. There's a scarf by Pearl Soho. Oh, the Joy of Color scarf. They, I believe, came out with this last year in 2023, maybe 2024. I remember on New Year's Day laying out on my hardwood floor all of my little scraps and my Advent that I hadn't used prior. And Pearl Soho knit theirs. There's a picture, I'll put it up here, in their linen quill minis, which I would love, but I didn't have them. And I wanted to use up all these scraps. So if you are looking to stash down and get rid of some of your scraps, and this is a scraptastic pattern for you. So I faded this scarf just like they did with the minis, and I faded the entire thing and just marled, and so I guess maybe fade isn't the right thing, but I marled it with all of my scraps. And I'm telling you, this is so warm. I love this scarf. I can wear it just with a t-shirt, and it's such a really, it kind of helps the colors just pop. I can wear it out on the playground for school, like all bundled up like this. It is so fun. You knit and you don't have to weave in your ends because they're in the inside. So you cast on, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. Well, you can access it on Ravelry, but Pearl Soho has it as a free pattern. I mean, if you can get yourself those linen quill minis, the sample that they knit that I showed here earlier is beautiful. I just wanted to use up my scraps. So these are fingering weight, and I just went so many rows and then added the other one and then added the other one. It's awesome, I think. I mean, the other thing that I want to tell you about this video that I should have said, one of the first things that I said, is that these are my favorite things. I'm not getting a kickback from any of the people that I mention in here, including the store that I'm working for and taping in. I literally just want to shout these designers, these patterns, these yarns out because they, in my opinion, are my favorite. So this video is very chocked full of my opinions. Okay, so I want that to be clear as well. So yeah, favorite accessories, check that box. All right, next thing, favorite sweaters. Now these, I did really focus. I realized that when I was setting up today here at the store, I forgot one, but I'll put a picture of it here. This is the Frankie sweater by Sandnes Garn. To get this pattern, you have to get it in the book called Soft for Women by Sandnes Garn. It's knit with Sandnes Garn brushed alpaca. Excuse me, my runny nose. And I love this sweater. I made it, I believe, in like January, February of last year. I had the yarn. Tiff and Laura carry the yarn here. It's actually right behind me. And I love it. I'm gonna make another one in Sandnes Garn Kos or Kos, K-O-S, in the colorway, it's like an oatmeal color. I already have the yarn. I love this sweater. I throw it on over jammies. I wear it to work. I wear it on the weekends. I love it. So the Frankie sweater is one of my favorite sweaters. Second favorite sweater that I recently just finished for a knit along that we did here at the store is the Norma sweater. You saw me wear it on a previous podcast. I love it. Here's me wearing it here on my Instagram. This is buttery soft, oversized. It's like a sweatshirt, and I couldn't be more happy with the colors that I chose and the fit. Now it's sport plus mohair. I did use scraps or stash. This was just scraps, but I paired it with mohair that I got here at Dandelion Fiber, and I used my two favorite. So here's the other thing. I was going to do this as another favorite, but my two favorite mohair options, and luckily they carry both here at the store that I work at, and it is Biche Bouche, Le Petite Silk and Mohair. Favorite mohair, comes in a variety of beautiful colors, and then not that this is anything different than anyone else, because everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody, in my opinion, everybody loves this mohair too. Knitting for Olive, soft silk mohair. Those are the two mohairs that I used to pair in here for the gray and the blue. And then also I did, I also paired it with the brown. Favorite mohairs, hands down favorite mohair. Let me digress for a second too. If you can't wear mohair, your option could also be Surrey. Favorite Surrey, hands down. I know Surrey is Surrey, but my favorite Surrey, Fiber MacGyver. Surrey Silk comes in a variety of colors. Fiber MacGyver is Susie Arkell she's here from the Twin Cities, and she has an online shop, but she also sells in a variety of shops around the Twin Cities metro area and actually other places too. You'll have to check out her website. She, you can follow her on Instagram. She does Tuesday Night Lives. You can see what's going on in her world, but I'm lucky to call her a friend as well. And so hands down, favorite Surrey silk mohair, fiber MacGyver. Okay, so I covered those two while I'm even going over my sweaters, mohair and Surrey silk. I mean, in favorite Surrey. Other favorite garments that I have made. And coming up, you will see an online, I believe, knit-along with June Cashmere. I have mentioned them before. That is not a yarn that we carry here in the store. They are an online, you can access them online. I highly recommend you read about this business. Their cashmere comes from Kyrgyzstan, and the blog posts that they put up on their website is all about Kyrgyzstan and the nomads that live there and their goats and how they harvest their cashmere. It's fascinating, and the photos from Kyrgyzstan are absolutely beautiful. But anyhow, here's a picture of me wearing this here. It's called the Brookside Poncho by Taylor Harris. And I got this. Yes, this is a luxury item. I got this from my mom as a kit for Christmas. It's fingering weight. It took me a long time to knit, but I mean, it is buttery soft. I've had it for a while and no pilling, nothing. I mean, it washes up beautifully. I don't wash it every time I wear it, but I love a good poncho, and this one is just knit straight as a long rectangle, and then you seam it at the top. So check this out. I'm going to be collaborating with Amy coming up. We have a Zoom meeting now here over my holiday break, and details to come. Can't wait. The next favorite garment that I have that was knit this year in 2024, like I said, not all of these garments have been knit in 2024, or items, but these actually happen to be, is this. Look at this. I did this as a beginning lacework class here at Dandelion Fiber this year, maybe October maybe. And this is knit in, I've mentioned it on the podcast before, so sorry for the repeat, but this is kind of a recap. I knitted in Knitting for Olive, soft silk mohair, held double. This is a pattern by Claudia Quintanilla from Unit Toronto. She has a new book out that is beautiful. And I believe the name of the book, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put a picture of it here. I don't have the book, but I sure would love the book. I'm gonna, I can see it here at the store, and I'm not gonna go look for it. But anyhow, it's a beautiful book, and a lot of people are knitting things from it and showcasing it on their podcast. But she has beautiful patterns. You will oftentimes see them in the top 20 hot right now in Ravelry, but this one is just buttery soft. I wore it for Christmas this year. It was my Christmas sweater to myself. And yeah, Elena pullover by Claudia Quintanilla from Unit Toronto. Unit Toronto shop, or going to Toronto, or pretty much Canada in general, is on my list of things I want to do this year in 2025. So we'll see. I'd love it. So those are some of my favorite. I just want to make sure. So the Brookside poncho, the Elena sweater, the Frankie sweater, the Norma sweater. Ooh, one thing I didn't mention. Norma sweater, my favorite things knitwear is the designer. Okay, so you can find that pattern there. All right, what's up next? I did accessories, I did sweaters. Favorite Christmas gift, favorite holiday gift from my husband, who knows I don't need any more yarn, but gave me, ordered it through the store here, gave me this. Whoops, it's called Mood, not Mud. The company is called Mood. Vita XL. Look at this baby. So it's for your yarn and your accessories, but you can pull this little tab out and it opens up like a big fan, and there's pockets all around the outside. I'm not doing it justice, so I'm gonna put a picture up of it here. Then there's a little cover for the top. I'm buying a strap so I can carry it around to my knit days and nights and whatever with friends. Love it. I love it so much. And I can set it next to the couch and it looks kind of nice other than just like a project bag. I don't know. It's leather. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen their products, they're amazing. Tiff and Laura carry several of them back here in the shop. I think a lot of people got them for Christmas because they kind of seemed like they burned through a lot of the products that they ordered. So that's great. So favorite Christmas gift and favorite like knitting storage. Let's talk about favorite things that I made sewing wise this year. Brookside bibs by Sew House 7. Picture of me wearing them here in the shop because I talked about them earlier. And the Sydney, which is like a sweatshirt made with Merchant and Mills jacquard, and they're already what do you call that? I'm losing the word. The ribbing. You can like the ribbing that you can sew onto like a sweatshirt. Anyhow, I'll think of that in the middle of the night, the name of the word that I'm looking for. Anyhow, the Sydney here, love it. It's jacquard, it's cotton, it's buttery soft. I wear it often to school. One of my favorite things that I've sewn this year. Let's talk about favorite podcasts. I have so many, I can't even mention them all. I love those twins who knit. I love the aesthetic. I love that they love muted tones like browns and creams and all those rich and beautiful colors that they use. I love seeing, they are prolific knitters. I believe it's Jessica and Rachel. I love their videos. Plus I love that they're in Kansas City and my son goes to school in Kansas City, so it gives me a little thump to my heart. Let's see. Love Anything by Veronica Lindberg. Let's move on to also, while I'm talking about my favorite podcast, let's talk about favorite books while we're at it, because Veronica Lindberg just came out with a new book called Knits to Wear. First of all, the photography, which I believe that she does a lot with her team, and she is kind of the person who designs that in the back with just photography and such, because I know that she also does photography. It's a beautiful book with tons of patterns. And the reason why I love it is because I have her other one called Knit This. And I have made a handful of things out of here, including, I think I've made the lollipop mittens. I have made, what's the name of that cardigan that I also made? Oh, the Crazy Cat Cardi. I'm really intrigued with knitting a Stripey Affair sweater that's in this book. Like, I love her podcast because she's a new mom. She dealt with infertility. There's just so many things. And she has some really raw content of like real life in her podcast that I really, really enjoy. And I don't know, I really like her energy. I love her sense of humor. I love seeing little vignette pictures of her little baby boy that she has now. And so I'm going to shout her out and her books of things that are my favorites as well. So back to podcasts. I watch the Grocery Girls. I'm in it to win it. And when they do their videos, it's like 3 hours. I laugh so hard about them. Speaking of raw content, they edit nothing. I think they are hysterical. I would love to meet them someday. It's on my bucket list. Maybe. It's probably not one of their big Italian cruises that they go on because I don't think I could afford it, but I certainly would love to meet them sometime at a knitting festival or event. Let's see, who else do I love? The Knitting Posse is new to me. They are out east, and it's 3 women who just come on and talk about their makes and takes and knitting journeys. Let's see, who else do I love? I could go Botanical Knitter, my friend Emily here from the Twin Cities. I love her. Let's see. I love NE Knits, Amy from NE Knits. I love her stuff. I think she's just spot on with a lot of the stuff that she knits to the trend and things that are not trendy, and love watching her. There's so many. I'm going to put some more in the show notes, but anyhow, love these knitting podcasts. They take time. So now that I know that, being a podcaster myself, I feel like the time and energy that people put into these, I'm just really grateful. Jackie Makes, who is from Wisconsin, I love watching her stuff. Anyway, I could go on and on about podcasts, but those are the ones that like ring true and come to mind that I watch. And I also watched, I also watch Andrea Mowry. Love her Friday podcast. Like, it's how I start my day every day. Love that. Favorite knitting tools. Let's talk about that. My favorite knitting tools. Okay, so this is something that we carry in the store, and I couldn't find mine when I came here. I love these little modern embroidery scissors. We carry them here at the store. They come in different kinds of metals and colors. So I love these scissors. They are my favorite scissors. I have 2 pair of them. Love them. Funny, I have 2 pair of them, but I couldn't find one to bring it here. Go figure. I love my favorite needles are these ChiaGoo. I only use ChiaGoo. People ask me, what's your favorite needle? ChiaGoo. ChiaGoo with the red, I like cording. I love that cording. It doesn't crimp. I can soak it when I'm doing a lazy swatch. Nothing happens to it, whatever. I love these carbons. These double pointed needles are by Carbons by Knit Pro, and they are a carbon fiber and brass. And fantastic, and there's kind of a glare, so sorry about that. I love these. My favorite stitch markers are just light bulb stitch markers that literally are all over my house on the floor. And I have to say, one hazard is that one was opened. I don't know how it got in the shower, but it was in the shower and my son stepped on it. I heard about it for days. Sorry about that, Teddy. Anyway, these I got on Amazon. I use them constantly. Do I love little kitschy fun other ones? Yes, I've put them in my favorite things before, little ones with sheep with sweaters on them. But the light bulb markers, I love them. I soak them sometimes when they're on products. They don't sometimes, well, no, they don't get all rusty and whatever. I don't soak them for days, but anyway, those are my favorite stitch markers. Let's see, I love putting in labels. I love labels. So let's move on to talking about my favorite things in this store. Again, I'm not getting a kickback from this, but I want you to know that this is, so favorite yarn shop, Dandelion Fiber Company, of course, here in the Twin Cities. Why do I say Twin Cities? Because I'm from Minneapolis or in Minnesota, and there are 2 like key cities, Minneapolis capital, St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul, 2 cities, Twin Cities. Love all of these that we carry here in the store of little labels. I love these. I love all the designs. They're by Sarah Hartz. They carry tons of them here in the store, and they would have been a perfect stocking stuffer, perfect little gift to have. Anyway, so all of the Coco Knit products that are in this shop are some of my favorites. I have these. These are like, they save me in my knitting. The ruler, the stitch counter, this pattern holder, everything's magnetic. Like this whole thing is my favorite thing. Let's see. Also, another way of holding your pattern. Okay, I did get this as a gift from Laura. Her husband makes them. We carry them in the store. You're probably like, what is that? Okay, I love this. So it has a little notch out here, which I'm using my phone to video, so I can't show it to you, but you put your phone in here and then this kind of divots down and it's all your little like stitch markers and your cute little scissors and all your little notions. And here's another one. They retail for like $50, but they're solid wood. They're this beautiful, like soft piece of felt on the back, so you could kind of move it around on your table and not scratch it. I love this. This is one of my favorite things. So I can stick even my iPad, which my iPad, I download a lot of my patterns on the Books app on that, so I can kind of mark it up. Then all my little notions and things I need are here. Love this, one of my favorite things. Let's see, other favorite things in the store, just everything. This shop is so well curated. There's just so many things in the store that make it, that is why it is one of my favorite things. Let's talk about, let's see, favorite tip or trick that I've learned, basically I believe this year, combination knitting. I will put the video about combination knitting in the show notes. It's by Andrea Mowry. The video is. I was one that when I do German short rows, and I was constantly rowing out for my short rows, and I would avoid patterns where I would have to knit back and forth, not in the round, because I row out. And so I learned a new way of purling through Andrea Mowry's video, where you purl basically backwards, and then when you turn your work, you knit through the back loop to make your stitch not be twisted. It saved me. So I'm gonna say my favorite tip and trick this year was from Andrea Mowry in combination knitting. Thank you, Andrea, for showing me a way to avoid something that was really deterring me from doing a lot of different knitting projects because of that issue of rowing out. Now, if you don't know what rowing out means, someone had sent that to me in a comment. Rowing out is when your knits and your purls are not at the same tension. So either your knits are too loose or too tight, or vice versa, your purls are. So when you're working back and forth, you could see where you were knitting and where you were purling and where you were knitting. That's called rowing out. And so it was a huge issue for me for a really long time, and I feel really grateful but that is my favorite tip or trick. Let's see, favorite summer knits. I'm gonna put pictures up if I have them here. The Maewa tee was one of my favorite t-shirts that I knit this summer. And the Florencia tee, again, another brilliant pattern by, actually it's not called the Florencia tee, it's just called Florencia. And that was in a Lina summer magazine. I'm not sure, I'll put it in the show notes. You can get the pattern on Ravelry, both of these patterns on Ravelry. That Florencia was by another pattern by Claudia Quintanilla from Unit Toronto. I knit two of them. I knit in actually in pure silk, knitting for Olive pure silk. It's beautiful, I love it. It's one of my favorite garments. Let's see, so we talked about, Ooh, favorite thing I didn't get to this year, the Carla cape here. I talked about it in my fall knitting plans, and that's the reason why I'm not doing and make 9 like everybody else, or what I'm planning to make, excuse me, in the new year, is because I get really distracted by all the new yarns, all the new patterns, all the new books, all the new everything, because I try to keep a pulse on things so I can bring content to you, but also for classes that I will be teaching here at the store. So I have a rough plan, but I'm not gonna say them out loud because I might not get to them, because I get distracted. Speaking of that, here's another thing I love in the store. Yep, ADHD Knitting Club. Nothing is done, but boy, is it fun. I am getting things done, but I am self-diagnosed ADHD. But, you know, we all have our things. Let's see, what else do I love? Okay, I also love this in the store I wanted to talk to you about because I'm really into this Sashiko. I just wanted to make sure I said it right. Sashiko knitting. This is a little sampler kit or a cloth. So we have sample kits, and then you can do this little beautiful, like, cute bag that you hand stitch. I love it. This would be a really fun thing to do on an airplane if you were traveling and you didn't want to bring like a really complicated knitting project or something. So I'm really into this stitching thing. I am going to finish my quilt this year that I talked about. It's from the Black and White Making magazine from several years ago. And I started it, and I just need to hand quilt it. It's just a lap blanket, but it's so beautiful, and I'm inspired to finish it. And I have been working on it now over this holiday break that I have from school. So we'll see if that gets done too. I'm hoping. Oh, there's so many things. Ooh, I need to tell you about something that's new here at Dandelion. I do need to stash down, but I might make an exception for this. This just came to the store. They only have like a third of what they've ordered, but Circus Tonic, handmade. I literally just saw it when I came in today. I don't know anything about the company. Look them up. I'll put their info. I don't know. Maybe in the show notes. It might be something that's eliminated because I know I'm going to have way too many things for the show notes. It's going to take me hours to do this editing and show notes, but oh well, I like it. Merino, ready for this? Merino possum woolen spun yarn. Sport weight, 80% non-superwash merino, 20% New Zealand possum fur, 437 yards per 100 grams, hand wash only. What? Check this out. Colors. I didn't get all the colors, but I got these to show. Yeah, okay. Sign me up. I have to get some. I just, see, I told you. I said I was going to stash down, but, you know, whatever. Worse things could happen. I could spend my money on worse things. Circus Tonic. Possum fur. Okay, I have to tell you, it's not the same possum that we have here in the US. It's New Zealand possum. They're different. Because I think possum, the opossum, let me see something. This is called possum fur. I'm thinking about the opossum that are here, that every once in a while you see them as roadkill. Ugh. Okay, I'm just gonna stop talking about it, ish. Okay, ready for the really good stuff? I mean, to me, this is all good stuff, but favorite designers. Oh, I could go on and on, but I told myself I could only use a few. Okay, Amy Christophers, or Christopher's, Savory Knitting. She's the woman behind the Felix pullover, Felix cardigan, so many, pressed flowers, everything. Love her. Veronica Lindbergh, love her. Andrea Mowry, love her. Jared Flood, adore him. Speaking of, this is a Jared Flood pattern. This is, oh, I forgot to mention, this is one of my all-time favorite knits too. This is made out of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the colorway Pollen. It is buttery soft and so bright. You wouldn't lose me if you took me somewhere in this because you'd find me anywhere. I love this. It's called the Calderon cardigan. I got the pattern on Brooklyn Tweed's website. Love it. But Jared Flood, another one of my favorite designers. The Petite Knitter, Petite Knit, These are ones that I just go over and over again. And one of my newest favorite designers, who's a Japanese woman who's living in, I believe she's living in France right now. Her name is Rui Yamamuro. Okay. Favorite knit of this year. I know that I'm not just focusing on 2024. This was my Christmas Eve cast on. I can't stop knitting it. Literally cast this on Christmas Eve, and I can't stop. It is so fun to knit. I'm knitting it in Imbue by Brooklyn Tweed. It's a 5-ply, worsted weight, worsted spun yarn in the colorway crepe. I will have this on in the next taping. I can't stand it. I love it so much. And so she is one of my other favorite designers, and you will see me knitting more of her items in the next year, without a doubt. So I'll put all of these people's names, all of these designer names in the show notes. Rui Yamamuro. Check her out on Ravelry. She started out in Tokyo in 2005. She was a wedding dress designer and hand-stitched in this custom dress studio that she had. And now she's in France, and she's a knitwear designer. She has beautiful things, so check her out. Favorite, so I did favorite designer, I did favorite store, favorite sweater, favorite gift, favorite yarn. Okay, this is hard, but you already know that my favorite Surrey is Fiber MacGyver. My favorite mohair is Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair, and the other one was this, gosh, why did I already forget? Biche Bouche Le Petit, silk and mohair. Favorite yarn, I have 2 favorites. Well, actually 3 favorites. Favorite cashmere, June cashmere, 100% cashmere, luxury yarn. Favorite, like everyday, like run-of-the-mill yarn, and I'm not getting a kickback from Susie, and yes, she is my friend, but I love her yarn, like hands down, Fiber MacGyver. She has this Shanico base. It's in Sport and DK. Maybe she has in figurine too. I love this yarn. It is so buttery soft, and I love her colors. I love her colorway. I love her sock yarn. I love her just plain merino. This is called Pool Party. I've talked about it before. So I'd say Susie from Fiber MacGyver is favorite yarn of 2024, let's say this. And then hands down, favorite yarn, Knitting for Olive, everything. You know, I already said I like their mohair. And then favorite sock yarn, this is worth mentioning. Sorry, gotta grab it. Is the Coats & Co. Cottage sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. You would not know that this is superwash. You know how superwash has like a really slippery kind of a texture? You can kind of feel that it's superwash. You would not know that this Coats & Co. is superwash. We carry it here at Dandelion Fiber. The colors that it comes in, the feel of the yarn, I would for sure knit a sweater in this, and you would never know that it's superwash. Not that superwash is a bad thing. It's just usually I don't use superwash unless I'm using it for socks. And then my other favorite sock yarn is Magpie Fibers. All-time favorite sock yarn, Swanky Sock, 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere. I love this colorway for sure. It's kind of like a brown, red, burgundy. It's called Hell's Bells. That's another reason why I love it. So that's my favorite superwash yarn. And then my all-time favorite, I have to say, is Brooklyn Tweed. Brooklyn Tweed yarn. This is all from my stash that I have to show it to you. So I'm using the Imbue for the Choquette slipover, which I just showed you. This, I just got a sweater's quantity of this. I love this color. It's called Cadet. This is the fingering base, called Loft. This is Shelter, which is what I knit this in. It's worsted spun. This is Newsprint, which is also their fingering weight version. And then I have this, a sweater's quantity of this. This is a discontinued yarn that I use for other things that I have a bunch of. Brooklyn Tweed. Jared Flood knocks it out of the park. Always. I love, love, love. I got to meet him at Sacred Sheep, which I also have to say, favorite yarn event of the year was Sacred Sheep. I loved how small it was. It was in Portland. It was fantastic. I went with a handful of buddies. It was perfect. Let's see. So I did my favorite yarn. Everything. Favorite skill that I perfected. I finally perfected the tubular bind off. I did it. I actually did it recently. I went over and over and watched tutorial after tutorial to perfect the skill. So between my tip from Andrea Mowry on combination knitting and the tubular bind off, I feel really happy that I was able to kind of kill those two techniques. But 100% my favorite thing of all time is engaging on this YouTube, engaging with this knitting community that I think is such a beautiful part of my life now. These people especially, these are my people. I knit with them every Sunday. Every Sunday is sacred, 2 o'clock. These are my gals. So I'm super grateful to them. They are my favorite people. Tiff and Laura, favorite people. I'm so grateful to them for giving me the opportunity to engage with the knitting community here in the Twin Cities and teach classes and meet so many great people. I love teaching people how to knit, how to learn different skills, how to engage in their creative moments. And so I'm grateful for that. But most of all, super grateful for all of your beautiful comments. Thank you for watching my channel. I do this for fun. I do it in my free time. I engage because I want to learn more about this craft that has given me so much peace in my heart and in my mind. And thank you. Thank you very much. If you want to see more of my content, please don't forget to subscribe. Send me a comment. What are you going to work on in the new year? What is one of your wishes in the new year? Follow me on Instagram to see all of my new makes. It is a goal that I start to do some more posts on Instagram and meeting more of you on Instagram and following you and your makes. Thank you so much.